Okay, YouTube, in this last video, we're going to confront how to solve equations using all of the methods that we've used so far, but really looking at a modeling equation that models a given situation. So let's go ahead and read this here. It says in this figure here, you see, shows the average number of hours per week spent watching television, but by annual income. So you can see that as your income goes up, I'm assuming that you're maybe working more, but the trend is that it goes downward, this hours spent watching TV on average. So that being said, apparently we have this formula here that models this situation where it's going to tell us that this equation models weekly television viewing time, H. So H is our number of hours watching TV as a function of our annual income, I, that is being represented in thousands here. So that is, if you give me the income, I could tell you approximately how many hours of TV you watch. What we want to do in this video, though, the interesting thing is, we say what annual income corresponds to 44.6 hours per week watching TV. So what I'm doing is I'm actually giving us an H value, and we're going to go plug that into our model here. So we say H is equal to negative 2.3 times the square root of I, square root of the income, plus 67.6 in our model. But essentially, we're going to work backwards to find, what income would correspond to this. So I noticed that down here, we say 44.6 hours of television. 44.6, it isn't on this graph, okay? Actually, the lowest it gets is 48.7. So we would have to say, well, you're probably making more than 70,000 a year. It's got to be maybe over here somewhere. 44.6 would be kind of down here on this graph. So that being said, we can go ahead and solve for this now. And I notice that I have a root in our equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a method where we said, let's isolate the root, and then we'll just raise both sides to the power that's going to get rid of that root for us. So we say minus 67.6. If we take away 67.6 on both sides, I'm going to get my calculator here. Looks like 44.6 minus 67.6. We get an even negative 23. So we get negative 23, negative 2.3 times the square root of I. And I'm going to love this part here because if we divide both sides by a negative 2.3, I don't know if you noticed this here, but basically this goes in 10 times, okay, in positive 10. So we say 10 is equal to the square root of I. So now that we've isolated this root, we'll go ahead and square both sides, which will eliminate that for us. And we get I is equal to 10 squared, which is really 100. So we say the income that would result in viewing about 44.6 hours of television a week would be this. They say the income of someone who views approximately 44.6 hours of TV per week is approximately $100,000. Cheers.